Hey, this is Startup Motiv with Jef Lippiatt of Startup Chucktown, and today I want to talk about internal feedback. So, why is that important? You'll be in meetings a ton as an entrepreneur, as a startup, and you really need to work on your feedback loop with teammates and other vendors that you work with. Today I'm going to be focusing on internal feedback with your own team. So first I want to talk about constructive criticism. And when you give feedback, you need to be clear. Like, you can't just say, I don't like it, right? You need to explain what you don't like and back it up with data on why you don't like it. For example, don't just say, I don't like it. Say, I think the red is distracting, and maybe we could try a different color, right? Give actionable feedback for people to take next steps on what they could accomplish. And that will keep them moving towards progress instead of into arguments. So again, that's super important, that it's constructive criticism. And when you give that feedback, they'll know that you value what they've put in front of you and that it's not just a personal attack. So that's super important. The next point I want to talk about is decomp time. So give individuals time to think about whatever the topic is prior to the meeting. Don't just, show up with the agenda and then in that moment tell them, hey, we need to brainstorm on these key points, right? Not everybody works the same, and so it's best to give people a heads up or a lead time on whatever you're going to discuss. So keep that in mind, and that's super important. And the reason is, again, if people have time to think about things before they start discussing it, they'll be able to provide deeper insights into what's being discussed, hopefully. So keep that in mind. Again, one of the reasons that's so important feeds into another idea that I want to cover, which is poking holes into anything. So again, while ideas are being thrown out, let them be thrown out regardless of what you personally feel, whether or not it's a positive idea. But as those ideas come out, make suggestions, try to look for gaps within the idea or how to flesh it out to make sure it's more clear. So again, you're looking for holes, but you're not doing it to be a jerk, right? You're trying to make the idea better, to make it more sticky. So look for those ways to identify areas of shortcoming or maybe just things that weren't clearly thought through when they were presented. So keep that in mind. And then again, another thing I want to cover is the devil's advocate. It's proven that disagreements will spark more perspectives and ideas than just everybody agreeing, whether it's because they actually agree or if they're just blindly agreeing because they don't want to stick out. So be willing to be the devil's advocate and say, but what if, and pose the question from the other side. You'd be surprised at the kind of feedback and discussion that it might spark, and you might end up on an even better idea than prior to somebody posing that alternative perspective. So keep that in mind and work on those with your team, work on it as an individual, review things, come prepared to get ideas, but don't get so attached to your ideas that you're unwilling to hear feedback, both positive and potentially negative, that still will be moving you towards a better outcome. So keep that in mind as you give feedback to others and as others give feedback to you. It might not always be easy to hear, but if you want to put out the best result, you need feedback and lots of it from different types of people and different types of perspectives. So value everybody. Listen to the ideas, but always look for opportunities to improve them. And again, this is Jef from Startup Chucktown with Startup Motiv Feedback. Thanks for tuning in, guys.